to me because things are changing in the project or in
Mm-hmm.
the company. And I can also do a fact check and say, are the facts still relevant? Are the things that they originally told me still true? And what a lot of companies make the mistake of doing, and I see this all the time, is something goes wrong and they hide it, they bury it. Oh, I'm not going to tell anybody. And of course, it all comes out and the facts are then disrupted. And what happens when the facts are disrupted? Well, it's what I call bounce, sell, troll.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of a better way to say it than bounce, sell, troll. So that is what happens. So at every step of the way, people are always going to verify their commitment to the thing they invested in the first place and to question their own loyalty to it. And if they're no longer loyal, they're going to bounce. If you can convince them that the project is still based on facts, based on the same relevance to them that it was before, they might reinvest or remain loyal or become more loyal. And I love to use the example of Apple. Because, I mean, you're an Apple person, right?
I am. I'm an Apple person, yeah.
Right. So when I say you're an Apple person, you've got a Mac, you've got an iPhone.
Got an iPhone right here. Yeah.
You have an Apple TV, the little box that you put that connects to your TV?
I don't. I have Amazon Fire.
Okay, that's okay.
So I don't have an Apple TV.
That's okay. But
yeah.
You're part of that ecosystem, and you probably go around telling people, hey, if you have an Apple, you could do this or you could do that, right?
Yeah.
So that is something we all do and tend to do a lot when we're loyal. And the challenge, of course, is we need to teach people how to build that loyalty in.
Yeah, I mean, say the reverse side of what's happening now, just from the fashion world. Have you been reading about what happened to Dolce & Gabbana?
No.
So with this whole like fact relevance loyalty thing, they said some terrible things about Chinese people basically and did a very racist ad campaign in China ahead of their extravagant show, and they had a huge pushback because their loyal fans became suddenly non-loyal. So now like Alibaba has refused to sell their things. Like they're basically like the Chinese market, which is the largest in luxury goods, is shutting them out, which is going to basically bury the company.
Well, this is a perfect example of where loyalty goes back to the facts. And the fact is that they've said things they shouldn't have said. And,
they did.
And they've ruined good things. And now people are doing a check mark question. Do these facts align with what I invested in? No, bounce.
No. Yeah,
Sell,
exactly. And they did the other part where you mentioned where they rather than owning it, they claim that, you know, apart from doing this stupid ad, then one of them made some like racist comments on his Instagram account and he claimed that it was then hijacked. I'm like, just own it. Also, you're Italian. You're a little racist anyway. And just go with it. And so because of that now, they're going to lose the entire luxury market in China, which is going to then send them down a deep, deep hole.
And by the way, just for qualification, you're Italian by heritage
I'm
as
also,
well.
yeah.
So you have the qualification to say that about Italians.
I'm not saying that all Italians are racist, but I'm saying these two Italians are definitely racist.
Right, fair enough. So this is a perfect example of how to screw it up. And so hopefully everyone, you know, benefits from what we're telling people, because this is passionate to both of us because we've both been in businesses. We're both witnessing a number of businesses fail. We're in a tough crypto market. It's a bear market still. It's tough. So you got to step up your game and play this game and do it right. That's the point here. That's what builds brand and builds loyalty. If you don't keep people informed and aware of what's going on in your company, and you don't keep the facts congruent, and you change something along the way, you end up like Dolce & Gabbana. If you stick to your guns and do what you said you're going to do, like Apple, people stay loyal.
Exactly. So, and you can lose that reputation at any time.
Right. Well, that's 100%. So now, how do we build a reputation to avoid the bounce, sell, troll outcome? Because that's the ultimate problem. Because as we talked about, we don't want people to bounce, sell, troll. I love that term, bounce, sell, troll. I'm going to start using that.
Bounce, sell, troll. I like that.
So there's three things that really define a person's reputation or a company's reputation. The brand and the fact and the image are all part of a process we go through that builds the brand, right? But the reputation part has three things. The first is, of course, as you just were talking about, transparency. So tell me about what transparency means to you, Yuri.
So transparency, it also partly just comes with being authentic, but you have to be open and honest with your customers, your clients. You tell them the good and the bad, and you have to be honest with it, because if they find out that you're lying, they will burn you to the ground. And it's so hard to cover all that up and to dig yourself out these days with social media and everything else. So that's what they really want. They want to be not like your friend, but, like you would treat a good friend. Open, honest communication. If something you messed up, then admit you messed up and move on.
Yeah.
There are, dozens of examples of brands who made terrible mistakes, but they owned it and now they're fine, versus the other ones who try to cover it up and now, China's not selling your luxury goods anymore.
So I had an ICO I was working with. They wanted to get it listed on an exchange. I was helping them, advising them a little bit. And then something came up, and it was related to their smart contract and the way that it had been coded. And the question that the exchange asked, which is normal, is, did you do an audit of the smart contract?
Yeah.
So no, we didn't. Okay, that's fine. So please get it audited and share us the materials. Dead silence. Never heard from them again.
Huh.
Now, because they didn't respond to this exchange, the exchange is beginning to think that there's probably something wrong, a scam, a problem. Guess what they're doing now as an exchange? They're contacting other exchanges and saying, be aware. There's a problem with this particular company. We're concerned because they're hiding things that we know they need to be exposing. We've identified other things that looked a bit off. They've attempted to explain them, but now there seems to be a problem related to the smart contract. Is everything they're telling us just making it up as they go, or are they truly being transparent about what happened during their ICO process? And it's fascinating to watch how their reputation is being destroyed because they're not being transparent.
Yeah.
They're just not telling the good and bad news. They're trying to bury all the bad news under a carpet, and it's absolutely going to destroy them. And it's really sad because the actual project looks good. I think it's just one guy in the company who seems to have made a mess of the thing. What can I tell you? I mean, if the CTO screws it up and they keep him around, that's their business. I'm not going to say who the project is, but it's really sad to see this.
It is. That's so bad. And you're right. If you cover things up and you hide things and you lie, that's worse. Just own up and tell the truth. People will respect that.
Yeah.
Versus, like with what's happening now, they're going to bury you. Your good reputation will be destroyed in a matter of minutes.
And I see trolling happening all the time on Telegram groups because you're being honest and saying, these are the facts, guys. This is just what it is. I'm sorry. And fine, you're going to get trolled no matter what. But isn't it better to be trolled for honesty and then say, guys, look, these are the facts. In your situation, what would you do differently? And then let people give you their opinion. You're engaging them now. And by engaging them, you're going back to that. It's still relevant for them. You've told them the facts. If they don't like the facts and they want to bounce, fine. If they want to troll you for being honest, well, okay, fine. That's a different problem entirely. But more likely than not, when you give people an opportunity to give you feedback, you're engaging them. And what does that lead to? It leads to reinvigorated loyalty. I like these guys. They're honest. They tell me where we're at. They know what's going on. So transparency is the first one. Second one, and you said it a minute ago, so authenticity. I love authenticity because it's all about open arms. I can't do it on the screen, but open arms and being open to the world, here you go, open to the universe, and saying it as it is. Let's just tell people who we are. Don't just ask for money. Because people invest in people, as you know and I know. So show that your relevant experience and something about you that's interesting. That's what I did at the very beginning. I wanted to start with authenticity. I wanted to say, here's who I am. I'm a real authentic person. I go to events. I go to shows. I'm on stage. I'm on a YouTube show. I'm an ICO bench expert. And people can check all that out. But I also have dogs. I have kids. I have a wife. I live in the UK. And that's what people want to see, is the authentic side, that I'm not just a guy that's saying I'm doing all these amazing things in crypto and I'm the best guy ever, but that I'm actually a real person that has real interest in playing tennis.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're a fully fleshed out person. You're not some like two-dimensional crypto version that's like was made up somewhere and on the back of someone's piece of paper somewhere. You're actually like an actual human being.
I wasn't made up on the blockchain, you mean?
No. Not made up on a blockchain to make someone's project look more authentic.
Okay, then the last one, transparency, authenticity, and what was the third one? Do you remember? I forgot.
Off the top of my head, I do not. And transparency, authenticity, and visibility.
Right. I love visibility. It's my favorite one, actually. This is the
Mm-hmm.
one most people just don't get. They go, oh, but yeah, I'm running a project. It's fine. Money will come in. And, I'm building my reputation on the fact that we have got a great project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but where are you? Who are you? You know, Putting a
Yeah.
photo up on a website doesn't mean jack to me, if I put it really mildly.
Right. You have to be out there with the people, with the people that you want to invest in. And I remember you bringing this up. It may have been a couple months ago, but how there are still a lot of high level investors who want to get into projects, and but
There
they will
is.
only invest in the projects that actually show up to these events. Like, so if you're a good project, there are people who want to invest in you, but you have to go where they are. You have to talk to them, shake their hands. They want to see you before they invest in your project.
Uh, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And it's and the other thing as well is, and this is I mean, a little harder for a lot of these founders of startups in general to understand, is two things that I think are key to visibility. And one is being present. That means when
Hmm.
you're in the room, you need to be present in the room. You need to command the respect. You need to be with a guy that when you walk, or girl, woman, that when you walk in that room, everyone should be looking at you, because you've got this aura and this energy, like, I'm here and I'm here to do business, and everyone senses that. That's being present in like the moment. And
Yeah.
most people just walk in the room and go, okay, I'm here. And
Yeah.
it's not going to
Exactly.
work. You've got to be 100% on, in flow, as Kotler would say, and really be in the moment. I think we should put a reference to his book, actually. That's a really good thing to refer to, is
Hmm.
the whole thing about flow, because it's
Flow.
it's Kotler, right?
Yeah, it's Stephen Kotler,
Stephen
Flow
Kotler.
Genome Project is
Yeah,
like his main website. Yeah,
awesome
but his
stuff.
books are great. Yes.
Yeah. But related to being present is be accessible. Let people talk to you.
Hmm.
I see people who get on the stage and they're like, okay, I was on stage now. I'm so cool. I'm the most amazing thing ever. I'm out of here. And that is not, I mean, that's fine. I get that you might have 10,000 people that want to bug you. Okay, so fine. Have one or two event organizers that kind of shield you and help you and protect you a bit. Because of course you get a lot of people and you'll get trolls and you get a lot of noise and all that if you're,
Hmm.
if you're there, which is great. You're visible now, but be accessible somehow on Twitter. John McAfee's on Twitter replying to everybody, as we talked about earlier. You
Yeah.
know, so is Elon Musk. But be accessible somewhere on your Telegram channel, on your LinkedIn, on your on your Twitter account, at this stage, at an event, write some blogs, but give people a chance to interact with you. It's the thing that I just find so amazing that people don't seem to allow. And how can I trust somebody I can't talk to?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
let
And
other
so
people ask you questions. And I want to see how evasive your responses are, or how transparent and authentic your responses are. That's what matters to me if I'm going to invest.
right. Right. And for the people who are maybe on the more on the introverted side, who have the opposite issue of just like not wanting to chat with people, it's part of that is learning to put yourself out there and learning to slowly introduce yourself in places. You don't, again, have to throw yourself into a crowd of 10,000 people. You can
No,
start small, but
true.
again, the investors want to chat with you. So if that's something that you need to work on it, because it's an important skill to have, be able to speak with somebody and not feel like they are pressuring you.
I couldn't agree with you more. And that's, yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you can get coaching. You
Hmm.
can practice, practice, practice. You're not going to get on the stage. Not everyone. I'm comfortable to get on a stage. I've done a lot of stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure you are too. That
Hmm.
we can get up on stage having just written our deck and just go up on stage and start talking. But a lot of
Yeah.
people can't. So
Yeah.
practice, get feedback from your own team and let them rehearse it with you. So by the time you've done it 10 or 12 times, it's so natural that when you get on the stage, you feel good about it. And then you'll be present and you'll feel accessible to people because you feel confident.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I agree.
Exactly.
If it's not your thing, either one, don't present and ask someone else on your team to do it, but be accessible, or two, practice like hell to overcome for the things you're not as good at. So be awesome at what you're awesome at, but the things you're not as awesome at, just practice them so that you can do them as part of the job.
Yeah.
Totally. That's probably a fourth point we could add. So, okay, so now, of course, the thing is, what's the link between brand and reputation to the company? In this
Hmm.
case, we're talking about the STOs because we're in the crypto world, the security token offerings. Because, of course, in a utility world, we're talking about utility tokens, but in a security token, totally different world because we're dealing with investors who are looking for